Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Rando Geek. We have an update regarding AT&T. This article is coming from CNET, and I will provide the link for this article down below for you in the description if you would like to check it out on your own. So, I did cut the subject directly from the article. That's what you're looking at here up on the screen. That is directly from the article. That's the headline there. I just snipped that out so we have our subject at hand so you guys can see it. What we're talking about here is AT&T is stopping its 5G internet air service in New York, so that's New York State, because of new broadband law. So there's a new affordable broadband law in the Empire State that has led to AT&T dropping its 5G home internet product entirely. So it's gone, no more. And basically what's happening here is this new law was created in replace of the Affordable Connectivity Program. Since that was taken away, New York State has pretty much mandated that any company, that's providing internet service, whether it's Fios, whether it's Spectrum, doesn't matter who it is, if you want to do business in the state of New York, you need to abide by these new rules. And those rules are as follows. You have to allow low-income residents access to broadband rates of $15 for 25 megabytes per second or $20 for 200 megabytes per second. That is the new law here. If you don't do it, they are going to basically not allow you to operate. So, what was AT&T's response? They've decided that they're no longer going to offer plans for its 5G home internet in the Empire State, and they will begin notifying users about the decision on Wednesday. So that is today. You might have gotten a notice if you're from New York that you're no longer going to be having service. Now, AT&T is not going to just shut you out. They are going to give you, I think it's 45 days free of charge to use the service while you look for another service provider. So AT&T says, of course, they're committed to providing reliable and affordable internet service to customers across the country. New York's broadband law imposes harmful rate regulations that make it uneconomical for AT&T to invest and expand their broadband infrastructure in the state. So that is a direct statement, according to CNET, from AT&T. That was their response. So they're heading out. They will obviously not be offering any internet service here. That's why there's no internet. No internet air is going to be gone. They don't have fiber. It's too competitive. Basically, Fios runs the whole show in New York, and then Spectrum follows. AT&T was hesitant to move in to begin with because of the competition. It's too competitive for them. And I guess with this new law, that's it. They're not even going to bother until maybe something changes later down the line. Who knows? So like I said, they'll allow customers to keep the service for 45 days. Okay. They say that they will work closely with their customers throughout this transition. They're saying AT&T's nationwide wireless service will continue to support policies that promote capital investment, innovation, and a competitive market. So with that being said, because AT&T no longer wants to provide that service for customers in New York, low-income families, they say it's not profitable enough. So I feel two ways about this. Okay. So now that I've given you basically all you need, there's some more stuff here, but it's not important. I gave you the gist of it. I gave you the things you need to know. You won't be just thrown off if you're a current customer and you live in New York. You'll have 45 days. Okay. You know that AT&T is not going to bring it back, not anytime soon. And the new broadband law, if you're not familiar with it, is in response to the Affordable Connectivity Program. So that's basically all the things we need to know. Now, with that being said, AT&T, they're not 100% wrong when they talk about how it may be unsustainable for them to offer their services at such a discount price, especially in a competitive market when you have other companies here like Spectrum and Verizon Fios. But, they're doing it. Spectrum was one of the first. I did videos about it a long time ago. Once they basically right before they cut off the Affordable Connectivity Program, the ACP program, officially. I did videos about how Spectrum was one of the companies that actually was on the front line, already thinking of ways to offer discounts before it was mandated, before it was forced. They were offering budget 200 megabytes up or down, or maybe it was 25 megabytes up or down. I can't remember the amount, but it was decent. It was good, and it was cheap. It was like $10 a month for, for most people, 25 megabytes per second will get the job done. I'd have to check back to see what those limits are because I'm not really sure. I don't remember. I got to be honest. It was a while ago, and there might have been some changes to that now since it's been over a year at least. So anyway, I get that part of it. I do. But what I don't get is how they think that they're going to be able to operate and not follow guidelines. Verizon has to do it. Spectrum has to do it. There's companies all around the world in different states that are doing this because the ACP program has been discontinued, and there's many family members who are crying wolf that they don't have enough money to pay for internet. Whether it be true or false, doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. It's obviously they can dig deep and they can try to prove it, but a lot of people are good at what they do and they know how to work the system. And unfortunately, AT&T is doing business. They're in a business where there's new laws now, there's mandates, and they're going to have to learn to deal with it because other states are going to adapt to these types of things. One city starts it, one state starts it, and then they follow. If you don't notice, LA follows New York, or California follows New York, and New York is following California in many ways. Florida's starting to adapt to things too now. The world is changing. And it hasn't gotten that bad everywhere yet. And I understand doing business in New York is very expensive. Very, especially if you're a brick and mortar. Get it. Most of them have just left and gone to other cities and states. So I get that. And I'm not going to argue that. But what I'm saying is, AT&T's been in the business long enough. And again, this is not a bash. Unfortunately, they kind of keep doing things that make you scratch your head. Like they're really starting to show the greed a little bit. And I like the service. I still think that the service is reliable and good. Many will beg to differ these days. They're having problems with it. They don't think it's worth it. I've heard a lot of good things about their fiber network. I've heard some good things about home internet air. So, I can only go based on what I hear and what I've tested in my time with the network. However, I'll say a few more things and then just wrap this up. They're going to have to adjust. They're going to have to be willing to compromise, just like other companies are. It's hurting a lot of them, and I know AT&T might think they're a little too good to deal with it. But if Verizon has to deal with it, T-Mobile has to deal with it, and other specifically internet service providers that have been doing internet for a super long time have to deal with it. So do you. And you can choose not to do business in New York State. You can choose not to do business in California should this rule be just as strict there. I don't think it is yet. But they do have their own rules, and they do encourage companies to offer better rates for their customers and the people that live there, because the ACP program has been discontinued. So if they don't want to play, they don't want to play nice, people are, like I said in my other video, are taking note of these things, and it doesn't look good. So hopefully they'll figure something out because everyone else has. As always, thank you so much for stopping by and watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.